Hey, what's up guys? Joker here, and I hope you're all enjoying your weekend thus far with the Modern Warfare beta going on. Been having an absolute blast playing that. They actually even put out the 64-player version of the game today, which is basically Battlefield Conquest. It's pretty killer. It's an open beta. You don't even need to pre-order to play in it now at this point, so definitely give it a check out over on battle.net. But yeah, today we've got a couple of news stories to get through in the world of gaming and tech. First up, we'll be talking about AMD Ryzen, where they have now officially announced that they are delaying the launch of the 3950X until November, and also Epic is giving away 6 free Batman games. And I know people don't like the Epic Game Store, but it's 6 free Batman games, and 3 of them are pretty damn good. And also, to go along with that, Denuvo DRM was actually removed from them. So we're going to get fired into all of the news topics. But first, I want to do a quick shout out to my buddy Brett over at UFD Tech, who has been having a very tough year. Him and his wife are having to move from South Africa back to America because of medical issues with their son, who suffers from a pretty rare condition. It's called SYNGAP1, where he basically has hundreds of seizures a day. It is absolutely heart-wrenching just to watch it and hear, these parents that just want to take care of their kid, but they can't get the medical care that they need down in South Africa, so they're having to move their entire lives, uproot it, to come back to the United States. So they've been doing a little bit of a fundraiser that was launched. I believe I have one of their friends at GoFundMe, where they were trying to raise $10,000, and so far it's already raised $67,000 in just 3 days. Absolutely amazing, and this totally skyrocketed after their video yesterday, and people like reaching out for them over on the Linus Tech Tips forum. So I'm going to leave some links down in the description below for you guys. Kind of putting this in the place of where I would usually put a sponsor spot in today's video. I just wanted to donate my sponsor spot basically to UFD Tech, so you guys are aware of this, and maybe go support them. I'll link to their video, the GoFundMe, as well as their Teespring page, which they are using proceeds from that also to help raise funds to be able to move back to the States and get medical care for their son Emmett. So be sure to check out those links down in the description below. With that out of the way, we're going to be talking first about the AMD Ryzen 9 3950X, which we originally thought was going to be coming out in September. However, with it already being September 21st, and we haven't heard anything up until yesterday on the 3950X officially, I guess, kind of assumed that it probably wasn't going to come out until at least October, but AMD has now said it's going to be pushed back to November so that they could focus more on their current lineup of third-gen CPUs, which have been extremely popular. The 3900X, they basically can't keep that thing in stock anywhere. I tried looking just now before recording this video, and over on Amazon, you can only get it from third-party sellers, and they're selling them for upwards of $800, which is absolutely mental. So yeah, it's been pretty hard to be able to find the 12-core 3900Xs. So let's take a look over on Video Cards, who has the quote officially from AMD. They said, "We are focusing on meeting the strong demand for our third-generation AMD Ryzen processors in the market, and now plan to launch both the AMD Ryzen 9 3950X and initial members of the third-gen AMD Ryzen Threadripper processor family in volume this November. We are confident that when enthusiasts get their hands on the world's first 16-core mainstream desktop processor and our next generation of high-end desktop processors, that the wait will be well worth it." So along with them announcing that the 3950X is being pushed back to November, we also got confirmation there on when we can actually expect to see Threadripper, which I don't believe we've had that information up until now. So I had honestly thought maybe it would get pushed back until next year, Threadripper, since we've heard so little about it up until this point in time. So that's really awesome to see that they're going to be launching those either probably alongside each other or maybe within a couple of weeks each other inside the month of November, which I'm definitely excited to see what they do with those there. The Threadripper, I've only had a chance to play with one time from a system that I borrowed from AVA Direct. I've never actually owned the Threadripper CPU, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they sample me this time around on Threadripper, as I'm expecting to at least get the 3950X, but I would definitely like to try out Threadripper, as well as I am currently running a 3900X for my render rig, so I would love to see Threadripper maybe upgraded already, even though I just built it a couple of months ago. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this. I'm sure the wait will be worth it, and yeah, just hopefully that they're taking this time to build up inventory, mostly because, as we saw with the 3900X, they haven't really been able to have enough of them available to meet the demand. So hopefully by the time this comes out in November, they'll have resolved those issues with the 3900X and also be very well prepared for the 3950X to come out and the possible high demand that there could be out there for, as they said, the first 16-core mainstream processor. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about de novo DRM, which has been a hot topic as of late. They've actually removed de novo DRM from the Batman Arkham series of games over on the Epic Store. Arkham Knight specifically is mentioned as having de novo DRM removed from that game. Now, when Batman Arkham Knight came out, that was one of the worst optimized, worst PC ports of all time, which I did a video on it, which was very popular. I did a huge angry rant on that. You should go check that out if you haven't seen it already. But now they are actually giving away the entire Arkham series, sans Arkham Origins. For some reason, Arkham Origins is not part of it. But on the Epic Store right now, they are giving away Arkham Knight, Arkham City, as well as Arkham Asylum, and then 3 Lego Batman games as well. So you can get 6 free games right now on the Epic Store, and it's going to be running for the next week as part of this promotion. But I mean, that is what it is. If you want to, get the games, I would definitely recommend it, even if you have to go through the Epic Store to do it, because the Arkham series of games are fantastic. And if you have not played them, then you owe it to yourself to go grab them for free, even though it's on the Epic Store, and play through all 3 of them, because they are fantastic. I actually just finally got around to playing Arkham Knight recently because of the previously mentioned issues that it had at launch. It was completely broken, so I didn't touch it for, I don't know, 3, 4 years later now at this point. I just finished it over the summer, and I absolutely loved it. I think it was just a great game. Not my favorite in the series, although I did think the player movement and traversing around the city was the best that it's been. I thought the story in Arkham City was a lot stronger, and the side missions were also a lot stronger, I felt, in Arkham City as well. But Arkham Knight was an absolute blasty blast in all the games I've enjoyed up to this point. Now, the interesting part, as I said, is de novo DRM has been removed from the Arkham Knight version, but it's only on the Epic Store version of the game, which over on DSOG, where I sourced this story from, they actually refer to it as the definitive version, which I guess a case could be made for that. Although you could also make a case that it's on the Epic Store, which would make it definitively not really desired, except for it's a free game, so you really can't hate too much. But at least they've removed de novo DRM on that version, which is good to hear, which actually opens up the door for an interesting possibility, which I am currently working on. I'm downloading Arkham Knight on the Epic Store right now in the background, because I want to test that version with no de novo against my Steam version of the game, which I had already owned, which does still have de novo DRM. So the Steam version still has de novo, the Epic Store version does not, and both of them being completely up to date and everything, it would be a pretty much apples-to-apples comparison, and the only difference there would be the store that it's running on and the fact that one of them doesn't have de novo, which is a very rare opportunity, because usually games get patched and de novo could be released. It's happened before where de novo was just completely released, but you don't know it's actually coming, so by the time it's already done, you might have already been updated and you couldn't get any good testing data before it happened. So this is a rare opportunity to be able to test Arkham Knight with and without de novo DRM, so I am going to take advantage of that and hopefully report my findings to you guys in a video over the weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, though, and enjoy the rest of my weekend, play some more of the Modern Warfare beta. Leave your feedback down below in the comments, especially if you are wanting to see that de novo DRM video. I'd be curious to see if you guys are into it. I'm going to get out of here, though. I will see you guys maybe tomorrow or Monday for another video. Ta-ra.